talk.
So should we test the audio and see if this will actually work? And my bangs are shit!
No. Bangs are like 10 out of 10 would bang, okay? I knew it!
I knew it!
Here we go, it's the genre conversation, the conversation amongst friends about films and their genres. Joining me today on my right, back from vacation, is Caitlin Kaminga. How are you, Caitlin?
I'm going.
Did you just have like a weird voice crack moment there? You're
no,
like,
it wasn't a
I'm the
guy. I'm trying to break some enthusiasm because now we are running almost an hour late.
Yeah, due to unforeseen circumstances, we're an hour late. How was your vacation though? Was it good? Where'd you go?
I went to Jasper and I climbed a mountain.
You climbed a mountain? That sounds like a fun time. Michael, from Blue Moon Studios, how are you?
I'm good. How about you, Tom?
I'm decent.
Excellent.
I just have a question.
We haven't choked on that line since we started.
I am decent.
I just have a question about everything we've been doing thus far. We've been the same group of people minus one or two every now and then for this entire project. Why is it that it's such a surprise to you that you need to reintroduce us every time we do this?
Because new listeners will not know who you or I are.
IR?
IR. Just the way I are, like Timberland.
Just the way I are.
Like I'm Timberland or something.
So,
just the way I are.
Are you saying that in order for new audiences to catch up, they should all feel that you are surprised and unprepared to introduce your friends who you've been hanging out with every episode?
I mean, the truth of the matter is I am surprised and unprepared. So, yeah, they should be.
We're being honest about it.
Like, I don't know, like, I don't plan out the intro. All I ever plan out is, like, nothing. It's Quiz Bowl, which I didn't even do for today.
We're at 2 minutes, we've had complaints for too long, so let's move on to the next thing.
Which is Love and Other Stuff.
Stop being a dumbass, Tom. Anyway, now for Love and Other Stuff.
Yes, before Love and Other Stuff, I do want to mention that this week we're looking at indie movies. The films we're looking at are Mean Streets.
All About My Mother, translated.
Todo sobre mi madre.
Todo sobre mi madre.
And My Big Fat Greek Wedding.
It's great.
Fat joke here.
We'll have a discussion with that later. Anyways, this week, Love and Other Stuff. Michael, what video game / anime did you go do?
Well, that's funny. I happen to play a video game.
I'm not surprised.
Wow.
I know, right? Who doesn't?
Wow!
Innovation here at the genre conversation. Michael plays a video game.
I mean, even more surprising if Tom played a video game.
I don't play video games, so you and I both know this.
Does Tom even know what a video game
Tom.
is?
It's that thing with the buttons, right?
I'm sorry you had no lights on.
That was city folk and their flying machines like that.
I played a Super Nintendo game called Terranigma, which was never released in the US. It's pretty awesome. You basically go around reviving the world. It plays like a action RPG. And it's a lot of fun, but not that many people have heard about it because it was never released in the US. Because life hates you.
Is it like Final Fantasy?
Kinda. It's more like The Illusion of Gaia or Soul Blazer. Anything by Enix Quintet. We've got to play those.
Makes sense. It's a Japanese game that I'm assuming.
Well, technically, virtually all games are Japanese.
What other country in the world makes video games other than the United States?
Korea, China, Australia.
Well, technically,
Australia doesn't make video games, do they?
They do. Yeah, everybody makes video
Croatia.
games. Croatia makes video games. Yeah. Everybody makes video games. It's just like everybody makes movies too.
I don't think Brazil does.
This is Brazil. What is the Brazilian video game?
Hey, now my composer is Brazilian.
What is the Brazilian video game? I'm actually curious. What would it be like? Would it be like Carnival or something like that? You have to like find the Carmen Sandiego.
Racist.
Carmen Sandiego, please. Please, where in the world is Carmen Sandiego?
No,
That would be awesome.
I can't say that. That would be racist.
My composer is into like typical Chrono Trigger, Final Fantasy.
Okay.
Games like that.
I mean, most video gamers are into that kind of
I would hope
gaming.
if they have taste.
Back on topic.
So yeah, it was a good game.
How does this compare to the other games that you've reviewed for our series? Because you went back and
They are
done like
completely
Ninja
different
Gaiden,
beasts.
all kinds of things. This is an entirely different thing from like
Yeah.
Ninja Gaiden, Shovel Knight. Those are the two I remember.
It's
God of War.
close.
God of War, yeah.
It's closer
Or
to
Gears of
Shovel
War.
Knight than anything
It's not
else.
Gears
but-
of War.
No, it's really its own beast. It's a very unique game, which is why I hunted it down. And it's something of a bitch to find. It's unfortunate.
Why did it never get released in the States then? If it's super unique and awesome and
Honestly, lifespan. It was released in about '97, which was probably 2 years after the release of the PlayStation. It could
And
be
Tom
1
was
year.
born.
And Tom was
in
born.
95.
Well, I know, 2 years after you were born.
So that was kind of the end
The
of the Super
PlayStation was
Nintendo.
released in 95?
The end of the Super Nintendo era was about 95, 96,
Yeah.
really. And they thought that they wouldn't be able to get the sales anymore on U.S. shores by the time they actually finished the damn thing. So
Yeah.
everyone else kind of got screwed out.
How did you track down a copy then?
I happened to find they're making reproduction carts
Woo!
at Animathon.
That's
and
cool.
I picked one up there, and it didn't work.
Oh, I wish I could
So-
have gone to Anime Film.
Then I went back to Game City to get a replacement copy, and they replaced it, and it didn't work. So then I bought one on eBay from some guy I'd never met, and it worked. So clearly the lesson here is eBay.
eBay, everything works.
That's strangers, kids.
They are not selling you evil at all.
Well, you'd be smart about it. You're like,
I mean, Creed Pasta is totally wrong, right? Like, there's nothing ever bad comes from strangers, ever.
Wrong.
that is the most false statement I've ever heard in my life.
Never ever, yo.
All right, Tom. What did you do for Love and Other Stuff this week?
This week,
5 out of 5. With Ben.
actually, that's the your rating for the game.
Yes.
I'm just
Five out of
keeping-
five.
I could
I'm
say
just
the
here to keep
ending
things
takes it
moving.
down about half a star. It's pretty impressive.
Are you gonna try and like keep things moving? I thought
Yes.
your job was to be my secretary.
Caitlin is
I'm not
the
your
anti-ATV
secretary.
of this.
I thought that's what you always said you're doing. Like, oh, you're my secretary. I want
No, I thought you
No.
were sex appeal.
sex appeal.
That's what I'm here for.
Okay. That's what I'm here for.
I'm not
feminism.
The secretary.
Piss off all the people.
All the people.
All of the people.
All
Learning. Learning.
Learning.
This
All right.
week,
Another stuff.
I
Go,
went and I watched a classic action movie. And Michael, I think I found the foreign film for you. It's called The Killer by John Woo, and it is amazeballs.
It's John Woo, so it's going to be pretty much over the top action.
It is, yeah, it is the most ridiculous thing in the history of ever. Like, they never run out of bullets. They're just sliding around on the ground. Chow Yun-fat is like this total boss. It's basically, it's funny because, you know, I watched this the same week that we were supposed to do Mean Streets, but it takes a lot of the themes of kind of loyalty in a crumbling world from Mean Streets and uses it in this film about an assassin decides he wants to go straight and then does one last job to
Which involves killing everybody, I'm going to guess.
in the end it does, yeah. One last job to get the money to pay for his
Brand new car!
lover's eye surgery. Yeah. and-
Seriously?
Yep.
Lover- Oh, God.
And
That's so cheesy.
it's so awesome.
I just used to... I really don't want to wear contacts anymore.
No, but she.
Okay,
no,
I will kill
in an
people to
earlier,
fix
What
this.
happened was in an earlier job, he accidentally shot her in the eye and it busted up her cornea. So
How the fuck did he accidentally shoot his lover in the eye? He's
she
an
wasn't his
assassin.
lover yet. It's a long
Shit
story. You have to
happens
watch
in
the
that.
movie. And Michael, you should actually watch this movie. You will like it because it is so ridiculous. It is like a combination of Lethal Weapon and Aliens, and it is
That sounds glorious.
It is a Chinese version of Lethal Weapon meets
Well,
Aliens.
it is John Woo.
It
I mean,
is-
That's what the man does.
It is the Hong Kong, I don't know, action film, like Boondock Saints, kind of just nuts movie making. And it is so much fun, and it is probably the greatest like Asian crime film I've ever seen.
Crime Town?
Crime
Oh, what
film.
about Chinatown?
Chinatown is an American.
Sorry,
Oh.
Big Trouble in Little China.
It's probably better, actually, than Big Trouble in Little China. Big Trouble in Little
How
China is
dare
really
you speak
good.
ill about Bruce Lee?
Big Trouble in
Jackie
Little
Chan.
China.
I can names today, guys. I can names today.
Big Trouble in Little China is really good, but this is better because this doesn't
doesn't care about being ridiculous.
It is just totally ridiculous. There is this woman singing this ridiculous like soap opera song about "You fell in love with me" throughout the entire movie. It comes back like 3 or 4 times. It is there for no reason other than just to be ridiculous and provide a crazy, like, great plinking piano soundtrack.
Well, you know, if there's not a
awesome
scene where the main character is riding on a velociraptor down the street, dual wielding shotguns, I'm going to be disappointed.
No scene like that.
Well, what the fuck?
There are some pretty great scenes in this movie.
Why is it that everything I have to read has a Roger Ebert quote in it?
Because
to taunt you.
So
what would you rate this film?
I give it the full 5. I mean, it's in like my top 100 movies of all time. It is.
So you would have
amazing.
sex with this movie?
Yeah, of course.
It would be wild, ridiculous. Off the chandelier sex.
There is a scene involving a small child. Somehow, like no, this is what some guy. So like the mobsters that are after him accidentally shoot a small child, and he takes the small child with him to the hospital, and then fights the gangsters at the hospital. And the surgeons are like, ignore them, keep doing the surgery. It is the greatest thing I've ever seen in my life. It was so awesome. Yeah, 5 out of 5. 10 out of 10 would bang repeatedly. Caitlin, you want to go ahead?
I watched The Conjuring. It was great. 3 out of 5.
Is this all you're going to contribute for the rest of our
Well, I was going to talk about Guardians of the Galaxy, but I don't remember enough about it because you moved the episode.
Yeah, you were a douche that way.
I was a douche. I'm sorry.
But I watched The Conjuring when I went to the lake last weekend, and it was pretty good. I like paranormal movies.
But you gave it 3 out of 5, which suggests...
Well, that's pretty generous for a horror movie.
Average. Well, no, it's slightly above average.
Caitlin, you know, your rating system is great. Yeah, I had a really good time with, what's that movie? A Million Ways to Die in the West, except for the children. 2 out of 5. It was...
I am a fair critic.
It was a good movie, minus the fact that there were children dying. 2 out of 5.
Did
was
you
the
not?
movie good?
I'm curious. Because you say it's great, but clearly it's distinctly lacking in certain areas if you only give it a 3.
Well, yeah, it's not scary.
Okay.
But it was good.
It was good. It was a well-made film that was not scary.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's it. That's all I have to say about it.
That's all I have to say about that.
But I wrote it, just going to plug in my own stuff here, and I was supposed to do at the end. I wrote an article that he just talked about.
That's
the experience
right.
of
And
movies.
it's coming at some point, as soon as Canberra decides he wants to edit something. Just because,
That's Tom being passive-aggressive, folks.
I love Sunset Rising Productions. Anyway, yeah, on Sunset Rising Productions,
I can tell.
Caitlin wrote an amazing article about the movie-going experience. And
That's how I rate films.
it was like 10 out of 10. Would bang. No, it was a really good article. Do you want to elaborate on some of the points that you mentioned in the article?
Trying to remember. It's
But
been a
not
month.
for more-
It's almost been a month since I've written that.
Are you like Isaac, Mr. Isaac from the Heroes franchise, where like you can only paint the future when you're like
In the moment.
on heroin,
probably.
and like your eyes roll back and you don't remember anything.
I
Like,
do-
whoa, dude!
I do a lot of my writing at like 2 in the morning, so don't judge me. But basically what I talk about is that it's not just about the movie anymore, because like, as you just said, the basic sum up of it is it's not just about the movies anymore, it's about the experience you have while watching the movies that helps determines if it's a good or a bad film.
Yes.
And that's kind of what I do, is like, I thought the movie Million Ways to Die in the West was bad because the experience that I had watching it was bad. Whereas when I went and saw Guardians of the Galaxy, and this will be my 2 cents on Guardians of the Galaxy,
Sure.
I thought it was a really good movie because the experience I had going to the movie, I went in the really expensive seats, I had like the best popcorn ever, I was sitting with great people. It was
They
a
gave
great
free
movie.
foot rubs.
Yeah. Would you give a guy a foot massage? No. Keep going.
But yeah, basically things like that, and like the article elaborates on that, where it's not just about, like, you can do this at home, you can do this in the theater or wherever you're watching a movie. I only gave those 2 examples because I didn't consider the other 2 because those are the 2 biggest ones. But yeah, that's my 2 cents on that.
Yeah, wow.
I'm in agreement
When
with
it's
this.
published, read it on Sunset.
Yeah, it's actually
Sunset
a
Rising.
really, really good article. You should all go find that because it's like the most good.
And
And
remember,
share.
for those of you who weren't
Make it
here,
viral.
For those of you
Yeah.
who weren't here for the first couple episodes, I write under the name of Keeson Cormac. So
But they can go back and find the old episodes. The old episodes are on iTunes. Which, by the way, we would love it if you could go.
And YouTube.
And YouTube.
I'm working on it.
We would love it if you could go, by the way, and rate and review us on iTunes, because iTunes' algorithm is the most weird, and it doesn't, like, you don't actually show up on their featured list if you aren't constantly getting ratings and reviews, which is kind of weird, but that's the way it works. So yeah, we would love it if you could go give us a rating or a review. Send us an email too to genreconversation@gmail.com. Yeah, we'd love that.
You can go check our Facebook page too. It's
The
Genre
Facebook
Conversation.
page swag.
We're everywhere except for Twitter and Instagram.
Twitter is evil.
I don't like Twitter.
Twitter is not fun, and we should have an Instagram. That would be hilarious, because then I could be.
Who's the time for all that?
Because then I'd be
Well,
insta perfect.
I'm the one who runs the Facebook and the YouTube channel.
It'd be insta perfect.
So
Okay.
you run the Instagram channel.
What do I have to run it?
Because I told you I'm running the Facebook and the YouTube channel.
Tom's a good listener.
Go back Thursday.
So, moving on to our films.
Moving on to Mean Streets.
I'll take the